The teacher suddenly started coughing violently during class and then lost consciousness and fell to the floor. Suddenly, the students started laughing. Thinking the teacher was joking again, they told him to stop pretending until they realized the teacher really wasn't moving. Suddenly, the students panicked. The teacher was taken to the hospital for tests. The results showed that he had pneumonia. To avoid infecting the students, Clark had to stay home to recover so he wouldn't fall behind in the curriculum. Clark asked his girlfriend to help him record videos. The students listened to his lessons remotely. The principal was stunned when these struggling students became so serious and well-behaved. A satisfied Clark recovered and returned. There was only 1 week left until the final exam. He got angry at the students because there were still some who were failing the tests. Clark knew they had already learned everything they were supposed to learn. It was just that their attitude toward the exam remained just as lackadaisical as before. He told the students with displeasure, "The exam is in a week. This isn't just your chance to prove your worth, but also an important gateway that will determine the direction of your lives." Tayshawn, sitting below, heard this, but an indifferent smile appeared on his face. When the day of the exam arrived, Tayshawn ran into two troublemaking friends on the way, who invited him to commit petty thefts. Fortunately, Clark had anticipated that Tayshawn would run into trouble, so he came to pick him up and take him to school.
You want it this way or that way, payaso?
Looking into Mr. Clark's sincere eyes, Tayshawn made a decision. He didn't yet know that this simple decision would bring such big changes to his life. At the last moment, Clark led Sean into the exam room. The students inside were answering questions while Clark waited nervously outside, just like a father awaiting the birth of his child. Finally, the exam ended. Seeing the students' relaxed faces, Clark finally felt relieved. Before the announcement of the results, he invited the whole class and their parents to a theater performance. All the students were very happy, especially Sean. But when the day of the performance arrived, everyone came except Sean. Clark realized something was wrong and quickly headed to Sean's house. He pushed open the slightly ajar door and found a complete mess inside. Upon entering Sean's room and not seeing him, he was suddenly struck by what he saw on the wall. A young man in black in the painting was taking off a white mask. It turned out that Sean had a tremendous talent for drawing, and before, he had always worn a mask that kept him locked up. Clark realized this and ran downstairs to search for him through the streets and houses. Finally, he found Sean, covered in wounds. At a dump, his foster father had beaten him and kicked him out of the house. Clark hugged him tightly and told him that the suffering was over. The principal voluntarily took Sean in. On the last day of the semester, Clark organized an award ceremony to present each student with a trophy. To those with a talent for math, he awarded the math prize. To those with artistic talent, he presented the art prize. It wasn't just a trophy, it was an achievement that the students received in recognition of their own merits. At that moment, the principal walked in, holding the results of the entire class's final exam. Amid the students' tense anticipation, he announced the results. Everyone had passed the exam, and the class's average score was the highest among all graduates. The class that had been the worst in all of New York had truly worked a miracle in just half a year.
Even tested higher than the honors class.
This was the story of Mr. Clark's triumph, the best teacher in New York.